Hi everybody, my name is Mark Villa. I'm the Assistant Manager here at the Children and Teens Department of Politics and Prose. And my colleagues and I are just going to give you a quick tour of some of our winter favorites for this 2017 year. It's a wonderful little pop-up book here. This is ABC Pop-Up by Courtney McCarthy. Every page it has a different pop-up item. So the A is for apple, B is for book, C is for cats, and so on. This is a lovely little book for all the youngsters.
I'm going to be talking about Forest World by Youth Poet Laureate Margarita Engle. It's the story of Edvar and Luza, who are reconnected after being separated, Edvar in Miami and Luza in Cuba. They have to work together to save the forest after they discover that something sinister is afoot. The novel is told in Margarita Engle's signature verse and is really great for ages 9 through 12.
I'd like to introduce to you a book called Frida Kahlo and her Animalitos. This is a wonderful picture book biography of the artist Frida Kahlo. It's a great way to introduce this artist to young children. It's written by Monica Brown and John Parra, a pretty amazing team of writer and illustrator. Frida Kahlo was a great animal lover throughout her life, and I think the book perfectly sets it up. This is the story of a little girl named Frida who grew up to be one of the most famous painters of all time. Frida was special. This is also the story of 2 monkeys, a parrot, 3 dogs, 2 turkeys, an eagle, a black cat, and a fawn. They were Frida's pets, and they were special too. You'll get the great images that John Parra has done of all the different pets that Frida kept throughout her life.
I'm going to share 2 of my favorite picture books of the season. The first is Professional Crocodile. It's a wordless picture book, but it definitely packs a punch. The main character is a crocodile. We see him get up at 7 a.m., pick out his tie, eat his breakfast, and head off to work. He takes some public transportation, he walks through the rain, and he's intermingling with the humans who also live in this city. And we see him get to work with a fun sort of surprise twist of a job at the end. Though it's wordless, there's a lot to pick out in the illustrations, lots of Easter egg type things, animals hiding in the crowd, also going off to work. A great book for ages 4 to 8 for sure.
Her Right Foot by Dave Eggers, art by Shawn Harris. Dave Eggers takes us from the initial conception of the Statue of Liberty, but he also brings our attention to her right foot. And we see the Statue of Liberty is on the move. He asks us at that point to pause, collect ourselves, and think about this. Let's discuss this. Let's think about and discuss the fact that this is the largest sculpture in all the land and the most iconic symbol of the United States of America. And then he goes on to share with us what that really means, and that the Statue of Liberty has welcomed thousands of visitors and immigrants throughout the years and will continue to do so.
Goodnight Planet, which is the latest early graphic novel by Argentine cartoonist Liniers. And it's about a young girl who goes to bed, and when she goes to bed, her stuffed animal comes to life. And he starts interacting with the rest of the animals and creatures in the area in an attempt to take a bite out of that giant cookie in the sky that looks an awful lot like the moon. Another really, really fun early graphic novel for ages 6 to 9.
Alfie by Thyra Heder, and it's a story about a little girl named Nia who for her 6th birthday gets a turtle whom she names Alfie. She's really excited to show Alfie everything that a 6-year-old is excited about, her wiggle dance, her friends at school, and soon she learns that having a turtle isn't all that exciting. But all of a sudden she learns that Alfie has disappeared. The book switches halfway through and is then told from Alfie's perspective, and it's really neat to see that Alfie has been paying close attention and has fallen completely in love with Nia. He has disappeared to find the perfect birthday present for her 7th birthday party.
City Moon, a really excellent bedtime story, also for ages 4 to 8. We see a mother and child get ready for bed. They put on their pajamas, brush their teeth, but before they can get into bed, they do one last thing. They put on their hats and their coats and their boots, and they head out into the city to say goodnight to the moon. And it sort of follows them as they walk through different neighborhoods and boroughs. A really good bedtime story for kids living here in the city, for sure.
The next book I'm going to talk about is Lines by Suzy Lee. It's a really great meditation on the artistic process as well as a really fun winter read. You can see from the beginning end pages that it begins with a blank page, then turns to a line, and by the end becomes a complete winter scene full of winter wonder.
Another one I want to make sure that you don't miss this season. Hashtag Not Your Princess. This book was edited by Lisa Charleyboy and Mary Beth Leatherdale. They also did Dreaming in Indian, you might be familiar with. But this one highlights, it gives us a glimpse into over 50 Native American women and girls, just a bit about their stories, their emotions, their experiences, that allows us to dispel some of the stereotypes that we might all hold of Native Americans. So please, this is one. The art in here is beautiful. The stories are insightful. Certainly open it up. You'll learn something on every page. You can go from cover to cover. You can just open in the middle, towards the end, in the beginning. But don't miss this one.
Next up is a title called Spinning. This is by Tillie Walden. This is a really interesting graphic memoir, probably best for teen readers. And it's the story of Tillie, who was, as she was growing up from early age of 5 or 6, was in the figure skating, the competitive figure skating world. So it's the story of her failures and triumphs on the ice. It's also a story about growing up in her particular family, having to move from New Jersey to Texas. It's a story of her moving away from figure skating eventually as she becomes an older teen, and leaving it behind. And also discovering her sexuality and coming out as a teen and letting her family know, and also finally discovering art. It's a real interesting take on it, just because you get such wonderful imagery and a really heartfelt story, full of lots of emotion and feeling about growing up and struggling and learning to be comfortable with herself.
And I have to say, one of my favorites of the favorites for this winter, another book by Jason Reynolds. This one, A Long Way Down. You must read it to truly and really appreciate this story. Jason tells this story in poetry format in 60 seconds on a ride down an elevator from the 7th floor to the 1st floor. Will, the main character of the story, is struggling with the loss of his brother and wanting to seek revenge. He gets on the elevator at the 7th floor and it stops at each floor. Someone gets on from the past. And by the time you get to the 1st floor with Will, you're really rethinking, what should we do? This one, you can read it once. You want to start right back again at the beginning and read it again. Jason has 8 books here in our department. This is the newest one, and I would say if you've got to start anywhere, start with this one. So I'm glad we were able to share a few of our 2017 winter favorites with you today. Please, everyone, take some time, stop by the store or visit us online. Take a look a little bit deeper at some of the books that we've talked to you about today. Have a happy holiday, and please come visit.